Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MB12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, still no clear date on when the gender referendum will take place. This as a prominent pastor again stresses the importance of a successful poll. A budget for the 2016 Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival expected to be announced this week. And as always, we count down the top quotes in news. I'm Paige McCartney. We've got those stories and more straight ahead on MB12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage says that the government has not yet set a date for the gender equality referendum, but is working on making one concrete pretty soon. And despite aiming to have it before July, Nottage, who also has ministerial responsibility for referenda, told MB12 that when it comes to the cost, that's not been agreed upon yet either. Here's Kyle Joaquin with that story.
The date hasn't been set yet, but I anticipate that it will be before July. That is my anticipation. I shouldn't be guessing about it, so as soon as we have set a date, I'll make sure that everybody is aware of it.
Recently, the Senate unanimously passed the 4 gender equality bills, meaning they now go to referendum for the electorate to decide whether these changes will be made to the Constitution. But since the bills passed in the House of Assembly just over a week ago, there has been public debate with blame being thrown at both the Progressive Liberal Party and Free National Movement for the failure of the 2002 referendum. But now that the bills have successfully made their way through Parliament, Nottage said blame shouldn't be the issue and that Parliament's support for the bills signifies something else.
So what the passage does, in my opinion, has demonstrated to the wider community that the collective political leadership of the country supports the concept of equality, of stature and opportunity for women with men, has its support.
Nottage said he hopes people don't decide to play politics with this one.
I think that this recognition has been a long time in coming, and I think that we now expect that the wider public, or I certainly hope, would follow the lead that's been set by both our religious leadership and the political leadership in this whole concept of equality, and will vote in support of all 4 of the referendum bills. This is what my hope is.
We also asked Nottage about the cost of the referendum, and he said that's actually something the government is still working on.
The referendum will be run as other referenda have been run in the past, so I don't expect it to cost any more than any other referendum that we've had.
Reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, perhaps a successful gender equality referendum could also lend itself to helping eliminate views that women are second-class citizens and inferior to men. This according to Bishop Simeon Hall, who voiced concerns about the prevalence of violence against women in the country and linked the issue to gender inequality. Hall, who is one amongst several prominent religious figures urging Bahamians to vote yes in the upcoming gender equality referendum, said he welcomes all 4 of the gender bills and will do all he can to enlighten and discuss the issue with others. Here's Dana Smith.
All 4 of them. I wholeheartedly support all 4 of them. I have no reservations about any of them. Having been explained as I have heard it done, I have absolutely no resolution. And I'm glad to be in the company of noble men like Bishop Gomez and Archbishop Gomez and Archbishop Pinda of the Roman Catholic Church, and the president of the National Baptist Convention, Dr. William Thompson. Those 3 represent the vast majority of the Christian church.
The gender equality bills passed unanimously in the Senate on Wednesday night after a near-unanimous passing in the House of Assembly. And now it's up to the people to decide. Many have come out in support of the bills, but many have also voiced concerns about one or more of them. Bishop Hall, who stated he will unequivocally vote yes to all of them, drew a parallel between inequality in the Constitution to harmful societal views about the status of women. He noted the Bahamas is in the top percentile in the region when it comes to gender-based violence and suggested that perhaps eliminating incidences of inequality in the Constitution could have an impact on the problem.
Part of our problem as a nation is violence against women. We rank very highly on the world stage in violence against women. Now, if we think they are second-class citizens, if we think they're not equal to us, it becomes easier to abuse them. And I'm hopeful that the passage of the gender equality bill will help to alleviate violence against women. Because if we think they are things to be abused, you know, a couple of 100 years ago, women were chattel. In the Bible, the very Bible we count, a woman could not go into the temple if her period was on. Thank God we've outgrown that.
Hall's comments come after the government-commissioned gender-based violence report noted that violence against women can be linked to beliefs embedded in Bahamian culture that women are subordinate to men. The report said these belief systems are reflected in a recent survey of high school students, where some 37% of male respondents and 12% of female respondents agreed that men should discipline their female partners. It is reflected also, the report said, in the current backlash emanating from the constitutional amendment on gender equality.
Bishop Hall said the gender referendum is something that should have happened a long time ago and explained he's not voting yes solely for himself, but for future generations.
I find it incredible that a pastor would study this and not see, and I'm not doing it for myself. I'm 68 years of age and full heterosexual male, all right? But as I study them, and as a father of daughters, you know, I have a daughter who worked for 7 years down in Guyana. What if she were to bring me a Guyanese as a husband, and they have children?
Hall also voiced concerns about the issue becoming too politicized, a common complaint that's lodged against the 2002 gender equality referendum, which failed after the then opposition PLP campaigned against it. But Hall voiced hope that things will be different this time around, and he called for more dialogue among voters on the bills.
I think what is needed is a national conversation free from the politics. It would be most unfortunate if this thing is politicized. And so I'm asking all patriotic Bahamians, all mature Bahamians, to let's talk about it. Let's agree and disagree, but let's bring a sensible, mature conversation to this discussion.
Reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Dana Smith.
Well, Free National Movement Chairman Michael Pintard is defending his party against allegations that the FNM is to blame for the delay of the gender equality referendum. He called it silly and foolish for anyone to think that the Progressive Liberal Party is not to blame. Simone Davis has details.
It's nonsense to say that the FNM would be responsible for the delays.
The FNM chairman echoed the sentiments of many, stating that the Christie administration is to blame for every fault in the referendum since its failure 14 years ago in 2002.
The truth of the matter is we introduced this discussion about taking the questions to the people in 2002. The PLP voted yes in the House and then led a campaign of no outside the House. So the initial delay was clearly the Progressive Liberal Party sabotaging a process they claimed to have been committed to.
Pintard said the Christie administration only used excuses the many times the referendum was delayed and asserted those excuses made no sense. And according to the chairman, the Free National Movement was used as a scapegoat in the process.
In recent times, I've heard Dr. Nottage make the same statement that they want to make sure that the FNM is on board because a certain amount of votes are required. The truth is, the PLP had the numbers among their members. They didn't need one vote from the Free National Movement in order to pass the bills. But they did not have unanimous support among their colleagues. So it is disingenuous to say that the Free National Movement was, in fact, responsible. And so I dismiss that out of hand.
He said he thinks it would have been much better for the governing party to own their mistakes and move on. Pintard said he believes the main reason for the delays is because the Prime Minister simply did not make wise decisions.
The truth is, the PLP often does not do its homework. The Prime Minister engages his mouth before his mind, and then he expects those persons around him to execute something he had not thought through. And so the wording of the bill was an issue. And so the commission had to, on more than one occasion, go back to the population and take additional consultation. Don't hold us responsible. You're in the chair. Get on with the people's business.
Reporting for NB12 Weekend, I'm Simone Davis.
Well, there's been much concern and speculation over the budget for the Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival this year. And while Tourism Minister Obi Welchkin did confirm that the budget has been tremendously reduced from last year's $9 million, he didn't reveal the price tag. When pressed on the budget, Minister for Youth, Sports and Culture, Danny Johnson, says he's currently preparing to reveal the final budget during his contribution to the national mid-year budget presentation in the House of Assembly next week.
Are you able to drop some figures of what you discussed about the budget?
Not yet. Not yet. But
why not?
You got to wait till next week. Next week we'll be doing our budget contributions.
Johnson also noted that his ministry is also preparing a budget for other cultural events beyond Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival. He confirmed that they have definitely cut back on spending on cultural festivities as compared to last year.
Beyond budgets, we just had the wonderful presentation on our mid-year report. And as you can see, we're restraining fiscal and public spending, making sure revenues are up. The Bahamas Junkanoo Carnival is a part of our 4-season tour, the Junkanoo season, which has increased. We did 25 parades this year, then Road to Carnival season, then a summer Goombay Festival season, and then a Jazz and Heritage season. And you'll see that budget spread across the 4 seasons to make sure we have year-round cultural activity. I think they've done a good job in holding back on spending.